Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate, with host Glenn Sutherland.
So Paul and I chatted last week, and we talked a lot about, honestly about my business a lot. I kind of talked his ear off, but I thought there was a lot of interesting things in this interview. So I'm going to release it as an interview or like as a podcast for you guys if you wanted to listen to it. But it's mostly me and Paul after the actual interview, just chatting about whatever we wanted in real estate, which has so much different things you might be able to take away from it. I hope you like it. If you don't, just give me some feedback and I'll stop throwing these after air ones on. But I think kind of sometimes it comes off the tongue real nice because we're just shooting it. And anyway, without further ado, here you go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's exciting, like in such a short time, like because even when I met you at the meeting there, I think I had one thing on the go. Daytona has been delayed 2 times. It was supposed to be closed like probably 3 weeks ago. It's pushed again now, December 6th. So, in my mind, I've learned from that other one. I'm basically saying, if I get it, I get it, and if I don't, I don't. I know if it's meant to be, because it's out of my hands now. I've done everything I can. I qualified, but
no, I totally get it. I've had many that have been way over. I was buying a property from Wells Fargo, foreclosure, and we were supposed to close. I had it under contract, I think, in August last year, and we were supposed to close in September. And we ended up closing in April.
Wow.
Yeah. It took forever, and it was just like a drag. And now I have a property right now I've under contract, and we were supposed to close a month ago. But the property went into probate because the person died. And, so they're like, yeah, you still have rights to the property. We just have to get a valid person to sign on it. And then, so now they got the person cleared, one of the surviving people cleared to be the signer. And it's just this, I'm just waiting. They're like, we have all the paperwork. Everything's good. I'm like, okay, so do we have a closing date? No, we don't. We have everything though. Okay. So some of those things you're like, how long are we going to be doing this for, like another month or two? Or is this like, we're going to do this next week?
Wow. We just had that. It's so funny in Memphis. I went down to the U.S. to get on U.S. soil to get a notary, notarized and sent it off. I sent my wire or whatever, and so Friday it's supposed to close, and I'm like, okay, Friday, no word. Monday, no word. I'm like, hold on, I've sent the money, I've sent everything, I know everything's there, so I'm contacting people, and they're saying, well, the guys went into the hospital, and he said, I'm like, what? Like, is this just terrible? Anyways, we got to close, but it was like, I was like, oh my God, I guess this really happens. Like you just said, one guy, like I guess people just happen, right?
Yeah, no, I had, this stuff happens. This stuff goes way longer. I was going to tell a story, but I forgot which one I was going to say, but whatever. But no, it's. Oh, I was thinking my first property, the very first property, I was like so worked up about because we had a wiring problem, and the money went to the States and it came back, right? And then we had to resend, right? So I got, and it was going from Canadian to US, US Canadian, Canadian to US, just like $800 in transaction fees, just getting it there. Anyway, but it showed up, like it wasn't, the fastest it was possibly going to get there was a day after the close because of these screw up, right? And because of that, I was like freaked out. I'm like, I'm used to, this is the closing day, everything else. They're like, just push a day, everything will be fine.
Yeah, they don't seem to care.
They just push stuff around,
In Canada, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. You close on time.
Exactly. There, it's like, well, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
How was that? Last time I talked to you, you were doing some major blocks. You were buying like a ton of houses or blanket houses or something. You remember you were?
We went down to Kansas City for originally it was 35 houses, and then it was 28. But then we found out it was 27 in an empty lot. So we went down there. I should actually do a podcast on this, but
Yeah.
we went down there and we basically got to the end. We're like, okay, started after we looked through a few of these houses. We're like, oh my god, this isn't going to work. But I like my JVs. I talked to him like, look, we're gonna cherry pick, and we're gonna make this into something, right?
Yeah.
So by the end of it, we found originally it was 10 that were good, 3 that had good bones, and then the rest of them were like they probably should have been torn down. In fact, one of them needs to be torn down because it was actually fire burnt out. But so we got that, and then we had that all under contract, and we got down there, and then right after we saw them, we put in paperwork to cancel the contract and told them we were going to renegotiate some of the things, and they were fine, and they let us out of the contract, even though we didn't really have conditions to get us out. So they let us out, which was cool. And then the second day, we went and looked at another, 7 or 10 houses, and then 1 or 2, I think, on the third day, and then we flew out. And we ended up getting the properties we saw on the second day, which was we had weren't under contract, but after we went that first day and what things weren't working out at all, like we're like, this is rough. These are in rougher neighborhoods than we wanted, and they're in rougher shape than we wanted. And deferred rent, like they're just everything was a mess. Like it was the portfolio had been run down, like they weren't running it like a business.
Right.
But anyway, we got the other deal under contract. We just closed on Wednesday last week, so we picked up the 7, which was 8, and then one of them had a title issue or something, and we let that one go, so we don't have the one. So we closed 7, and we put an offer back on I think 7 more of the original 28 or 35, depending where you start the original. The big bundle we put on 7, but then I knocked off more money off the price and cherry picked the best ones.
Oh, nice.
And they told me to stick it.
They
they wouldn't go for it, but we so from his original asking price, when we had the 28, it was he was asking $1.8 million. We got it down to $1.1 million, and we had that signed when we went down there. And then basically we had that reduced price, and then I reduced again to try and take the deal down, and he said no. We're probably, in all honesty, going to go back and push again, because with all these things, I like, you just wait and see what's left on the market. You're like, another month, 5 of them or 6 of them are still there, right? And you're like, okay, what about now? Will you take it now? And then you're like, eventually, they're like, oh, now it's 4 out of the ones you wanted. Well, will you take it now? And eventually, I'm probably going to pick up some of them, but I want the right price for them, because there's going to be some work involved, and it's going to be like a tenant issues to solve and get rents caught up and get people kicked out that aren't paying and are living in it. He actually had guys that were staying in the property and weren't paying, and I was completely okay with them, because he's like, no, it's good. This keeps people from stealing the copper. But I'm like, but you have people that live in there that don't pay you rent.
Yeah.
Like shouldn't you fix this up to a point where someone would rent it?
Yeah.
Like they didn't have anything in there. Like they were sleeping on a what do you call those things? Like a sleeping bag right on the floor. Like they were like one step up above homeless living in some of these places, and you're just like, this is like, if I took this over, I'd be like, I want vacant possession. And be like, they are vacant. Not really. There's still someone who lives in there.
Somebody's in there.
Yeah. No, the best was then we went to see the basement. We were in some of those properties, and we're like, let us see the basement. And we had to get screwdrivers and everything to get the doors open, because everything was screwed down to keep the people in just certain areas. And the guys that were living in there, they were like, oh, we've never seen the basement before. Can we come with you? You're like, wow, this is crazy.
It is a different way of doing things, right?
Oh, it's a terrible business model.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember the exact numbers, but he was originally had the property. I think he was performing. What was it like? I'm just making up numbers, but I think it was $30,000 a month he was making from these his portfolio, and he said now he's making about $12,000 a month from it. Like that's how far he let the thing deteriorate.
Really?
That's just bad business, and then you're buying problems, right? So you need a discount. You're not buying turnkey properties. You're buying deferred maintenance. Like some of them, some of them didn't have furnaces. Some of them didn't have no running water.
Wow.
My JV almost hugged the girl because he felt so bad for her because she had no running water. Like, she looked like she was going to cry when we were going through the property. We're like, this is so sad. Like, he's like the definition of a slumlord. And so you're picking up these properties, and then you're like, I wouldn't own something in that state, right? So I'd be like, okay, we need to get a lot of things fixed to get it going. But the ones we liked were ones that had good bones, like we weren't doing floors and like, structural floors. Stuff like that. Like, we were like, okay, this one needs a furnace, this one needs a hot water heater, this one needs taps for the shower because they're just missing. Like, stuff just needed to get done, right? So like we're like, and a lot of them, like, just to be rent ready by C- class properties. It wasn't you didn't need a lot. You just needed stuff cleaned up, and that's what you really have to run: clean, safe, and just get that all done. Because I wouldn't own a lot of those the way they are, and like I said, like a lot of the ones even that I'm mentioning, we were ones we passed over.
Right. We had that in Ohio, Dayton area. 608 Street. It's been abandoned for a while, and we had the lineup of all the work that needs to be done. And all of a sudden, a realtor calls me back and says, "We got to add more. We took the tub out, and there's no plumbing." So everybody ripped all the copper, and they couldn't see it the way it was, So it's just like, sorry. Yeah, it was like, okay, so another $1,800 on top of that. It was they said it was quite a rip out. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess what are you going to do now? We're in the thick of things, so might as well just get her done, Someone stole the water meter too. So the water company saying, well, you owe us $2,000. I said, what do you mean? Like, how do you even know? Well, that's just the penalties. And it's just like, if you can find the water heater, you're okay. Or sorry, not the water heater.
Water meter.
And you don't know.
No, we were looking at them, and that was part of our checklist, and there was a few of them that the water meter was missing. We're like, who steals that? What's it good for? Is that even enough metal to take it to a metal recycler? I'm like, it's like the pipes are still there, just the meter's missing. I don't know. Must be something valuable in there.
You might find it in the bush. Someone just threw it as for fun or something.
I don't know. There was a couple that were missing. We're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So what are you doing? Are you taking those? Are you making them turnkeys and wholesaling them, or what do you usually do with them? Are you burring them out, or?
Well, with those ones, we got seller financing. We were looking at all seller financing stuff. So we were doing 90% loan to value, 5.5 interest, 10-year term. And so
5.5 on a seller refinance? That's good.
Yeah. So when we originally were running our numbers, they were going to cash flow I think it was like $3,500 a month. But it got down to what the seller or what the seller's goal was and what our goal was were not the same thing. So what their goal was that they wanted they either wanted all the cash, they wanted a big pile of cash, so they were either going to ask for to move down the loan to value number, and so they get a pile of cash, or we found out after some talking that really what their main goal is they had a grandfather that was old and sick, and they just needed, I think their number was like $3,000 a month of cash flow is what they were looking for, but they had all these properties, but they were willing to sell them all. So if you're willing to give him over $3,000 a month as a mortgage payment, then you can make it all work. So the tricky part about this whole thing is we were, because it's 5.5% on I don't even know the number, like $200,000 ish worth of property, and you go, what they needed was a ridiculous high interest rate or something else, but they came up with the idea, well, let's just make the amortization 10 years, so that makes like triple your payments, right? Triple, like you're usually doing a 30-year, right? So really high payments, right? And we walked away from the deal for, I don't know, a week. And then I went back to my joint ventures and I said, look, are you guys okay if I showed the property or this deal to someone else, and they're like, "What do you mean? It's a dead deal. It doesn't. It only cash flows like $800 a month, like for 7 properties. So it's really crappy cash flow. Why would you show that to someone else?" I'm like, well, because it's a 10-year amortization, and we were going to make $3,500 if we did a 30-year amortization. You start looking at it, you're like, it still returns like 150% ROI, but a lot of it's in equity. It's in equity. It's all in. You're just massive mortgage pay down. Like, you're paying like triple the mortgage you normally would do, and I'm like, so I'm just going to pitch this to someone else. Like, it's still, the return is still crazy. So I'm like, it's still a deal. It's just not necessarily the deal for you guys. So let's do something else. And then they went back and went, okay, well, you know what? It is the deal for us. We're in. We'll do it.
Nice.
So we went and took it down. And now we'll have to know, like, before, if we were thinking of burning some of them out, but I'm like, they're like, well, can we burn these now? I'm like, well, no, the deal doesn't work that way, because we have 90% loan to value. Right now, we're all Canadians, so if we want to cash out refi, we're not getting 90% loan to value, even though we've bought these at a discount. There's not, like, so I'm like, it means, like, just do some simple numbers, like $50,000. Say we're getting a 70% loan to value on a cash out refi. We're like, we got to take this $50,000 property that we bought for, like, I don't know, $40,000. And now we have to get it appraised for like $90,000 or $100,000 in order to get the 70 to like. And it's just like or I'm just making up numbers in my head, right? But you get the idea. It's like we have to come up with. It's like a massive amount we have to jump the thing, because we're jumping down to a lower loan to value in order to pay you back, and that's just even to get your money out. So I'm like, no, we have to come up with a different strategy. But I'm like, there's not a lot of money in the project, right? We just bought 7 properties for, I don't even know, like under $30,000. So like of cash, right? So you're like, so I'm like, they're like, well, what's the plan? Because every time I do a joint venture, the whole purpose is to get the money back quick, right? I don't ask for like long-term commitments. I'm like always in out, like, well, but I keep them on as general partners, right? So I'm like, I want to get their money back fast. So how do we do this? And I'm like, we buy another project that can do that. So we were looking at basically, I was going to talk about specific ones, but we were basically looking at some flips. So we're looking at some flips where we can make $30,000 in 2 months and then pay them out, and then we're done, right? Like, they've got all their money back, and we can sit there and split it up, right? Just enjoy the equity pay down, right? And so that's what the plan is. It's sort of like it's normally a deal that I wouldn't do, but you look at the ROI and you're like, how do I let it go, right? You're like, how do I let it go? We're getting it way under like a discounted price and like really good financing, kind of, and you're like, but that's the story with that one. So we did end up getting 7. We're kind of looking at 3 more that we got sent. I got to look at it closely, but I at my first glance, I didn't like it. So anyway, I'll look at it closer, but it's another seller finance deal, same sort of thing, 90% loan to value. But I'm like, I'm like, guys, if we want to get your money back, we gotta do something to get money back, right? If we just keep buying seller finance properties, it's great that we don't put much money in, but we need to buy something that's like, it'll cash flow really well, this one, but like, we need something that's going to be able to burr, right? We need a project that it works like that. And then if you're buying it and it's seller finance, right? Then why, and it's really good financing. Why do you want to burr it? You're giving up phenomenal financing in most cases. Why would you want to give up the financing to do that? So I'm like, that's why I'm like, let's do a flip or 2, get some more cash, and like, do one flip, pay you guys back, do another flip, and then we'll have, $30,000 sitting in an account, and we'll just be like, what's this wait? Let's wait, and they'll come. We'll find another deal.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool, man. Like I said, if you ever get some really interesting stuff, and you're looking for someone, you can always send some stuff my way, and we're always looking for creative ways to invest, and we're, like I said, we're in the thick of things, so we're always looking or things like that. So
Paul, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do so?
Yeah, definitely email me. I am looking for investment partners. I brought on 2 people so far, and I am looking for more that, want to make something of this and make a good cash flow. So the best way is P_Gillespie, which is GILLESPIE 55 at yahoo.com.